Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're really diving deep into the world of aloe vera.
Aloe vera. Yeah.
But we're not talking about the stuff in the little green bottles that you buy at the pharmacy.
Right, yeah.
We are talking about actual aloe vera plants that you can grow in your own home.
Yes.
And get this.
Yeah.
Our source material for this is actually a Spanish YouTube video transcript.
I know. How cool is that?
hmm
Talk about dedication to like getting these little gardening nuggets right.
I know. We really do scour the globe for this stuff. But it just goes to show you, I mean, that the plant love really is a universal language.
It really is.
And so there are no more excuses about not having a green thumb.
Yeah.
This video claims
Okay.
that aloe vera is practically bomb-proof.
It is. It's one of the most beginner-friendly plants out there, I
Ah.
would say. And you know that resilience really comes down to its evolutionary history.
Yeah.
I think about where aloe vera comes from, those dry desert landscapes.
Right.
It's adapted to survive with very little water.
So it's like a camel, but with spikier leaves.
Exactly. You can almost imagine those plump leaves holding on to every precious drop of water, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes it so forgiving if you forget to water it now and then. It's a succulent, which means it stores water in its leaves.
Which is, I think, why a lot of people don't realize, and they overwater them.
Exactly.
Okay, so aloe can handle a bit of drought, but what about light? I've always heard that they're like real sun worshippers.
Well, the video made a point of saying that aloe can tolerate a wide range of light conditions, which is true to an extent.
Okay, so what's the catch?
The catch is that tolerate doesn't necessarily mean thrive.
Oh, okay.
While it can survive in low light, you'll see much faster growth and more vibrant color with plenty of sunshine. Think of it this way. You might be able to tolerate a cold room, but you wouldn't exactly say you're thriving in it, would you?
Okay, that analogy really paints a picture. So, wait, are you telling me that even I, with my notoriously bad track record for houseplants, could keep an aloe alive?
I think you might just surprise yourself. Even if your apartment isn't bathed in sunlight, you can still have a happy little aloe.
Hmm.
But there's a caveat. The video shared a cautionary tale about suddenly moving an aloe into intense sun.
Oh no, what happened? Did it shrivel up and die a dramatic death?
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. It's like when we get sunburned. Just like our skin needs time to adapt to stronger sunlight, so do plant cells. Imagine going from a dimly lit room straight into the blazing sun.
Ouch, yeah.
Not a good feeling, right?
Not my idea of a relaxing afternoon.
Exactly. Plants can experience something similar if they're not acclimated properly.
So it's like giving your aloe a gradual tan instead of throwing it straight into the midday sun.
Exactly. Gardeners call this hardening off. And it's just as important for aloe as it is for other sun-loving plants.
Okay, so we've talked about light. What about water? I
Yeah.
feel like that's where I usually go wrong.
Yeah, it's definitely a delicate dance, but this video really stressed how important it is to avoid overwatering aloe.
Right.
Remember, they're adapted to those arid conditions, so too much moisture can be a death sentence.
So when you say overwatering, what does that actually look like for an aloe? Like, how do I know if
It's
I've gone too far?
Soggy soil, constantly damp.
Okay.
That's a recipe for root rot, which aloe vera is particularly susceptible to. Remember how we talked about those water-storing leaves?
Yes.
Well, if the roots are sitting in water, they don't need to work to find moisture, and they can actually start to decay.
So it's like if we only ate fast food and never exercised, things would start to go south.
Exactly. Aloe thrives on a bit of neglect when it comes to watering. A good rule of thumb is to let the soil dry out completely between waterings.
Okay, but how dry are we talking? Bone dry, like desert dry?
You got it. You really
Yeah.
want to feel the soil a couple of inches
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
If it's still moist, hold off on the watering can. Depending on your climate and the time of year, that could be anywhere from once a week to once a month.
Wow, I had no idea it could go that long. See, this is why I need you. My poor plants never stood a chance before. Okay, so we've got light, we've got water. What about fertilizer? I feel like there are so many opinions out there about what's best.
The beauty of this particular video is that they kept it really simple. 1 or 2 feedings per year is enough for aloe.
Seriously, that's it. My other houseplants would be staging a revolt if I only fed them twice a year.
It might seem counterintuitive, but remember, aloe vera is adapted to nutrient-poor environments.
So giving it a ton of fertilizer is like giving it a huge sugar rush, more harm than good.
It can be. It's all about balance. Over-fertilizing can lead to a buildup of salts in the soil, which can damage the roots and actually hinder growth. It's like overwhelming the plant system with too much of a good thing.
So slow and steady wins the race with aloe. Less is definitely more.
Yeah.
Speaking of more, what happens when our aloe is thriving maybe a little too much and it starts outgrowing its pot?
Ah, that's a great question. They mentioned repotting and how that's really crucial for it to really flourish.
Uh,
And they recommended repotting about once a year.
Once a year. Wow, that seems like aloe likes to move. Why is that compared to, say, a snake plant that seems happy to stay put for years?
It's all about growth rates.
Okay.
Aloe vera is a really vigorous grower, especially when it has the right conditions.
Got
If you start to see roots circling around the bottom of the pot or poking out of the drainage holes, that's a sure sign it's time for a new home. Think of it like outgrowing your clothes. Eventually, you need a new size.
Okay, so those are definite red flags. What about choosing the right pot? Any tips there?
Absolutely. You'll want to choose a pot that's only slightly larger than the current one.
Got it. Don't overwhelm those roots with too much space at once. So we've covered repotting, but is there anything else we should be keeping an eye out for with our aloe? Any other little secrets from the video? So we've covered repotting, but is there anything else we should be keeping an eye out for with our aloe? Any other little secrets from the video?
Um, they touched on something that I thought was really important, and it's kind of the journey from the nursery to your home.
Yeah.
Most nursery-grown aloes haven't been exposed to intense sunlight. They've been living kind of a sheltered life, you could say.
So they're like the plant equivalent of someone who spent all summer indoors.
Exactly. And just like you wouldn't suddenly go from a dimly lit room into the blazing sun without some serious sunscreen, we need to help our aloes adjust gradually.
Right. That whole hardening off thing we talked about earlier, it's all about acclimating your aloe to its new environment, especially if it's going to be spending some time outdoors.
Exactly. Start it off in a shady spot and gradually introduce it to more sunlight over a few weeks. And keep a close eye on it. If you start to notice any browning or discoloration, it might be a sign that it's getting too much sun too quickly.
Aloe sunburn. Poor little guy. I'm already feeling so protective of my future aloe, I can't even stand it. You know, it's amazing how much we were able to learn from just one short video. Who knew a Spanish YouTube channel held the secrets to aloe mastery?
It really speaks to the power of observation and really understanding the fundamental needs of plants, no matter where those insights come from. And that's what I love about gardening. It's a lifelong journey of learning and discovery.
Totally. And speaking of discovery, this deep dive has definitely opened my eyes to the versatility of aloe vera. It's so much more than just a sunburn soother. It's a resilient, beautiful plant that can thrive in a variety of conditions.
It truly is. You know, it makes you wonder what other plant care gems are out there just waiting to be discovered from different cultures and traditions around the world.
That's such a great point. I'm already feeling inspired to explore more global gardening techniques, but for now, I think we've given our listeners a fantastic foundation for successfully growing their own aloe vera.
We have. And if I can leave our listeners with one final thought to ponder, it would be this. How can understanding a plant's natural environment help us care for it better?
Ooh, that's a good one. It makes you think about the why behind the how of plant care.
Exactly. Because when we understand where a plant comes from and how it is adapted to its environment, we can create conditions that help it truly flourish in our homes.
Yeah.
It's all about working with nature, not against it.
So well said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the wonderful world of aloe vera. We hope you've enjoyed this journey as much as we have. And remember, keep those gardening questions coming and keep those aloe plants thriving. Until next time.